Welcome back to DMV Sports Zone.
Chased down by Beal in the corner for three, gets fouled and hits.
Welcome to DC.
Walker tied him out.
You know where you're at, the USA cap. You're taking it slightly, I'm taking it slightly. Now how you gon' act on you gon' be right back. When we gon' be right here, we gon' be right here. We ain't going nowhere. Welcome to DC.
What's good, everyone? It's your boy Nati with another video for the channel. Welcome back to DMV Sports Zone. And tonight, I'm back with your Day 7 recap of the Washington Commanders training camp. Yesterday was a difficult day in DC sports, but Wednesday was a different day, and that began with the Commanders back at camp, and it was a action-packed day of camp. But before even getting to what the offense did, what the defense did, you guys know, per usual, right? I do want to get to one nice gesture that the Commanders did on Tuesday that I didn't get to talk about on that day because, of course, Abdullah had the reaction video. But shout out to all the Commanders players and coaches that came together on Tuesday to sing happy birthday to 98-year-old longtime fan Miss Melba Jacobson. It was a dope gesture, and it's nice to see that following the nice gesture that the Commanders had last week for Ryan Kerrigan. Right after he announced his retirement, they all stood by the entrance of the practice facility as Kerrigan walked in with his wife and his kids and applauded him and stuff and embraced him. So it's been a good last couple weeks for the Commanders. Hopefully we could keep things rolling. But now with the offense, once again, shout out to everybody, all the beat reporters out there in training camp, from Zach Selby, the Commander staff writer, to ESPN Nation Commanders reporter John Keim, to Washington Times Commanders beat reporter Matthew Peros. This is where all the information comes from. So guys, go make sure to follow them on Twitter, read their work. Very good people as well. But with the offense, so Dyami Brown did not practice today. He was wearing a sleeve on his right leg. But per reports, the injury doesn't seem too serious. Probably just soreness. So we'll see if Dyami Brown practices on Thursday. I do expect him to do that, but I don't think the injury will be too serious. But some wide receivers were playing hot potato with the football as well. Terry McLaurin and Samuel were the last ones standing. Curtis Samuel. McLaurin ended up winning. So just building up some nice camaraderie among the wide receiver group, while also, I guess, for finding pass catching skills. I don't know. But speaking of Curtis Samuel, I think this is a huge highlight from today. He was in full pads out there on the main field. I know a lot of us, including myself, are really worried with the injuries when it comes to Curtis Samuel and how they continue to rack up. But he's out there on the field, full pads, was running full routes, catching passes, all great things that we want to see. And I think that's going to be super important because, much like a lot of you out there, I think he's the X factor on this offense. If he plays and he's fully healthy, or at least as close to fully healthy as one Curtis Samuel can be, I think that could be a game changer for our offense. So hopefully he continues to build up, good practice days in camp, and hopefully that continues, right? Hopefully the plan that Ron Rivera and co have in place right now to get him ready for the regular season actually, follows through, and he ultimately is ready by that point. But he had a couple of nice catches from Taylor Heineke as well. One where he had to climb the ladder to catch the ball. So he looked okay. And he also made contact with defenders. Looked like he was rebounding pretty nicely and wasn't suffering, any lingering effects on his hamstring or his groin from last year or anything like that. So he looked good out there. Brian Robinson Jr. was also motioned a bit out of the backfield. I think this is an interesting point because a lot of us think that Robinson is going to be used more as a thumper, right? More as a guy between the tackles. But don't forget, last year, 300 receiving yards and 2 receiving touchdowns for a Bama offense that was pretty stacked, right? And he showed some pass catching chops. So potentially Washington could use him a little bit in that role this year. A little bit because we have J.D. McKissick, we have Antonio Gibson. So we have actual pass catchers out of the backfield. But just an interesting point that I read up on from Wednesday's practice. Also, of course, continue to hear great things from Curtis Hodgins and Cole Turner at the tight end position. Cole Turner especially, I think, could start the season as tight end 1 if Logan Thomas is out, which I expect. He's shown some great things. And Carson Wentz loves targeting his tight ends, whether it be Zach Ertz or Dallas Goedert in Philly, or even last year with Indy, Mo Alley Cox, believe Doyle as well, Jack Doyle, if I'm not mistaken. So that Wentz Turner connection is growing stronger, and Turner is obviously not, I wouldn't even say not a great blocker. He's just not a blocker, period, right? But we've seen some tight ends go through aspirin, go through this organization, and do some really good things on the field, even with them not being the greatest of blockers. So Turner could be a stud for us coming out of the fifth round this year, actually. Jahan Dotson also showed some nice things. He made a sick catch of a ball that was thrown behind him, but one that he's still able to corral on William Jackson III while falling to the ground. I mean, typical Dotson stuff. Like I've been saying, it feels like every single video, I think he's going to be a stud for us. He's going to be a star for us in no time, and his rookie season is going to be really good. I've been believing that, and I've seen nothing for me not to believe that really up until now. Dax Mill, Mr. Steal Your Girl. Shout out to Tone for Protect Sports for the for the moniker, but he's also making some nice catches in 7-on-7 and 1-on-1 drills from Taylor Heineke. Looks more and more like he'll make the final roster, so should be interesting, man. Everybody knows the top three receivers: Curtis Samuel, Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson, even De'Ami Brown, if you want to consider the top four. But there's a lot of question marks behind that group, and Dax Mill could be fighting for a spot, really, for real, on the final roster. Carson Wentz, kind of mentioned him a little bit earlier, looked very crisp out there for the most part in 11-on-11s. He completed all 4 of his passes, 1 to Terry and 3 to running backs as well. So a better day from Wentz, especially coming off the last couple of days that have not looked so great for him. So hopefully he continues to stack up the good practices. On defense, Deron Payne had a veteran day today. He watched practice from the sideline, so didn't get any reps. No injury concerns at all, guys. It's just a veteran rest day. Undrafted Notre Dame rookie linebacker Drew White, though, who was carted off the field on Tuesday's practice, tore his ACL, which is kind of definitely sad for his health, but also because he was one of the undrafted guys that we were potentially considering, getting some reps at the linebacker spot and maybe pushing for reps come actual games, right? So it kind of sucks there. Our DBs seem to have some nice plays against the top 2 wide receivers right now, in Terry McLaurin and Jahan Dotson. William Jackson III broke up a pass to McLaurin. Benjamin St-Juste, who once again, by all accounts, is having an excellent camp, got the better of Jahan Dotson on a couple plays. So I'm excited, man. Our DBs they're getting after it, really. So hopefully they can continue that. Danny Johnson also had a nice pass breakup against Alex Erickson, and while Cole Holcomb isn't a DB, of course, he also had a nice pass breakup. I believe it was a tip pass from Carson Wentz. So our defense, again, they've been pretty good the last couple of days. They've been pretty good. So hopefully they can carry that over to when the actual games start, unlike last season, or really the last 2 seasons when we actually started off slow in the first halves of the season. So hopefully that doesn't happen this year. But some other interesting notes: there was some post-whistle activity between players that frustrated Coach Rivera a bit during the no-huddle period, but it ended up seeming okay at the end because the team was eventually able to settle down. So no real problems there, but I feel like it's just typical training camp chippiness, really. And the 2021 defending National Women's Soccer League champion Washington Spirit was at today's practice, and we're actually trying out some field goals with some of the special teams players. So I just love seeing all the DC teams, the DC area teams coming together and embracing one another. And this was just another example of that. Of course, we know the Caps Nats connection, right, from previous years, but I just love seeing that kind of stuff. And shout out to the Spirit. They are the defending champions. But the Cowboys unfortunately signed former Vikings Pro Bowl linebacker Anthony Barr, and this has less so to do with the Cowboys, more so to do with the fact that we've been all been clamoring for the Commanders to sign a linebacker to add to this group because we're not satisfied with it whatsoever. Barr is another guy you have to take out of the current market. I mean, you technically have an Alexander Johnson, and you technically have a Reggie Ragland, but I don't know what more you can do to really improve this team at linebacker at this point, unfortunately, which I don't know, man. If our linebacker issues continue to show up in the regular season, man, Coach Rivera is going to have some questions to answer, for sure. And a good note, defensive line coach Sam Mills III will be traveling to Canton, Ohio right after practice on Thursday to see his father, former linebacker, Sam Mills, get inducted into the Hall of Fame on Saturday. So congrats to the Mills family. And it's going to be an exciting to see his father get inducted. I believe his father actually passed away, I think like a decade ago or something like that. But just shout out to that family, and it's gonna be exciting to see the Hall of Fame ceremony on Saturday. Speaking of Hall of Fame, we're finally getting football back Thursday night with the Jacksonville Jaguars playing the Las Vegas Raiders in the Hall of Fame game. Neither Travis Etienne nor Trevor Lawrence are actually reported to be playing the game, and I'm pretty sure any of the recognizable players from both of the teams will not be playing. But despite that, it's still football. It's still, like everybody's wearing pads, everybody's tackling each other. Like football is football at the end of the day, even if it's a preseason game where nobody that we know is really playing. But it just shows you that at least the regular season is coming near. The Commanders are going to be playing their preseason game starting next week, so it's an exciting time, man. It's an exciting time because football is definitely back. And with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching my Day 7 recap, the Washington Commanders training camp period. And please make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the DMV Sports Zone channel, where we like to post fire content like this as much as possible. Also, go follow our Twitter page at DMV Sports Zone, Instagram page, all lowercase DMV Sports Zone, and our TikTok at DMV Sports Zone as well. And with that being said, again, thank you guys so much for watching, and see you on the next one. Peace.